So, what's the secret to growing plants that are not just surviving, but truly thriving? Today, we're digging into a really smart approach to plant nutrition that's honestly a game changer for anyone who grows things. Yeah, this is the big one, isn't it? It's the question every grower has asked forever. How do we get more out of our plants? More vitality, more yield, and in today's world, that puzzle is more important than ever to solve. Look, the pressure is always on to get better results. But, the old ways of doing things, they just aren't cutting it anymore. We need a smarter way, a more sustainable way. So, how do we get there? Well, what if the answer wasn't just about adding more stuff, but about adding the right stuff? We're talking about giving plants the fundamental building blocks of life itself. We're talking about amino acids. Okay, let's really get into this. Here's the best way to think about it. Imagine instead of just giving a plant a bunch of raw ingredients, you're handing it a perfectly made, ready-to-use energy bar. That's what these amino acids are. They're a direct shot of energy the plant can use right away to build, to grow, and just get stronger. And here's the really cool part. It's not just about feeding. It's more like upgrading the plant's entire operating system. You get better energy production, the plant gets way tougher against stress like a cold snap or a dry spell, and it actually gets better at using all the other nutrients you give it. The bottom line, a tougher, more productive plant all around. Okay, so we know this stuff is great, but how do you actually get it to the plants? Well, there are a few different ways, because this is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. You've got options depending on what you're trying to do. Maybe you need a quick spray for an immediate boost, or some slow-release granules for long-term health in the soil, or a powder you can mix up yourself. That flexibility is a huge part of what makes this so effective. And what's really interesting is how each form is designed for a specific job. The liquid spray, that's like a shot of espresso for the plant. Instant energy absorbed right through the leaves. The granules, on the other hand, are more like a slow-burning log for the fire, giving a nice, steady supply of nutrients from the soil over time. Okay, now this is where it gets really clever. There's this process called chelation. Basically, the amino acids act like little bodyguards for essential minerals like iron and zinc. They grab onto them, protecting them from getting locked up in the soil, and personally deliver them right into the plant. It's like a VIP escort service for nutrients. All right, so the science is cool, but talk is cheap, right? Let's see what this actually looks like out in the real world. The proof, as they say, is in the pudding, or in this case, the plants. We're going to look at some pretty dramatic side-by-side shots here, and honestly, they really do speak for themselves. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Wow. Okay, just look at this rice. On the left, that's your standard fertilizer group. And on the right, that's the group that got the same fertilizer plus the amino acid mix. I mean, you don't need a microscope to see the difference. The grains on the right are just visibly fuller, heavier, they're bursting. And yep, the numbers tell the exact same story. You're seeing a jump from 56.4 grams to 63.5 grams. That's more than a 12% increase in weight. That is a huge difference, and it all comes back to giving the plant those easy-to-use power blocks. Now, let's switch over to these cucumber plants. The one on the left, it's doing okay, it's fine, but the one on the right is an absolute superstar. It's just a jungle of green. The leaves are bigger, thicker. That plant is just firing on all cylinders. But this one, this before and after with the citrus tree, might be the most stunning of all. On the left, you see this poor, struggling tree. Those yellow leaves are basically a cry for help. And on the right, just a few days later, it's like a totally different tree. It's been brought back to life, vibrant, green, and healthy. So when you see all of this evidence, you have to ask, what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean for the future of farming and growing? It all boils down to this concept, precision nutrition. This is the future. We're moving beyond just dumping general food on plants and hoping for the best. This is about giving them exactly what they need right when they need it, so they can reach their absolute full potential. And this matters for so much more than just getting bigger crops. This is about a smarter, more sustainable, and more efficient way to grow. We're talking about building a better food system by working with a plant's natural biology instead of against it. So it really leaves us with a fascinating question, doesn't it? Are we moving out of an era of just feeding our crops and into a new one where we're actually empowering them? The answer to that could really change things.